Bonjour, French students. Welcome to your lesson for lesson 4B, pages 68 and 69 in your textbook. Le verbe venir, la construction venir de plus infinitive. Just so that you know, this part here, this is a review. Okay. This part here, that's new. Okay. So some of this is kind of a combination of some review and some new material. So review the forms of venir to come in the following sentences. Again, this is that review. S'il vous plaît, répétez venir. Je viens. Tu viens. Alice vient. Nous venons. Vous venez. Mes amis viennent. Right, doing the sentences now. S'il vous plaît, répétez je viens du café. Tu viens de la plage. Alice vient de Lyon. Nous venons du restaurant. Vous venez de l'hôtel. Mes amis viennent du stade. If we work through kind of translating these, right, this first sentence means I am coming from the cafe. You are coming from the beach. Alice is coming from Lyon. That's the name of a city in France. We are coming from the restaurant. You are coming from the hotel. My friends are coming from the stadium. One of the things that's pretty common with venir is that you often use it with de, because remember, de means from. And typically, when you use come, you're talking about where you're coming from. So oftentimes, venir is going to be used with de. That means you do need to remember your de contractions. Remember, de and le become du, and de and les become day. De la stays de la, and de l'apostrophe stays de l'apostrophe. The following verbs are conjugated like venir. S'il vous plaît, répétez devenir, revenir. You see, devenir means to become, and revenir means to come back. And again, that's kind of the revenir, right? R-E, when you talk about it in English, that prefix like do versus redo, right? Redo means that you're doing it again. Here, venir, remember, means to come, and you're coming again, so you're coming back. These sentences, s'il vous plaît, répétez, vous devenez très bon en français. Bravo. Ma copine revient de Monaco demain. Working through the translation again. So this first sentence is saying, you are becoming very good in French. Good job. And kind of pay attention, right? What does that bon tell us about the vous? Right? It tells us that this is plural. So we're talking to a group of people. All right. The second sentence here, my female friend is coming back from Monaco tomorrow. So I did want to go through and give you the conjugations of these, right? So devenir means to become. And again, to conjugate these, all we do is we're going to put de on the top, in front of the vien. So this is devient, 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 or devenons, devenez, and devient. Okay, for revenir, which means to come back. Okay, so we have revient, 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 but ending in the T. Revenons, revenez, and reviennent. Okay, so again, to conjugate devenir and revenir, we just put the de or the re in front of the forms of venir. Again, this part here, this is review, okay? You have learned venir before, and you have actually learned revenir and devenir before as well. To express what they have just done, the French use the construction venir de infinitive. So this is the near past. You would use this for something that you really have just finished doing. So this is more recently than the passé composé. Literally, this means to come from just doing. Oops, sorry about that. Did it again. Oh, never mind. Okay, so that's what, when we use venir with the infinitive, it means literally, right? Venir is to come from and just having done whatever it is that you have there. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez, je viens de rencontrer Marc. Ton frère vient de téléphoner. Mes copains viennent d'arriver. And you see those translations there, right? So, I just met Mark. Your brother just called. My friends just arrived. Okay, so obviously in English, we often use this word kind of just, that they just did something. So kind of, again, a little side note here. Aller plus the infinitive. This is, we called it the near future. So it's something that's going to happen very soon in the future. And venir de is sort of the near past, something that we've just finished doing. Right? So again, the forms of this is je vais, tu vas, on va, nous allons, vous allez, and il and al pluriel vont. Versus, again, venir, which we just reviewed, je viens, tu viens, on viennent, ending in the T, nous venons, vous venez, and il and al pluriel viennent. One of the other kind of things to keep in mind about these is that when I'm not necessarily using aller for the near future, but oftentimes one of the ways I can tell whether I should use aller or venir in my sentences is oftentimes aller, we're going to use it with that a, because you're often going to talk about going to, at, or in somewhere. Versus, one of the ways you know that maybe your sentence should use the verb venir to come, again, oftentimes you're going to have that de, which is that word that means from, about, or of. Okay? So, again, you don't necessarily see that as much when you're talking about the near future. You do use de with the near past. But again, sometimes you'll be given exercises where they'll ask you to choose between the verb. And again, sometimes looking for an a or a de will help you decide whether it should be a sentence that uses aller or a sentence that uses venir. Again, this is new. So we use venir, de, and an infinitive to talk about something we have just finished doing. So we have this example in your book, Mes amis viennent du stade. Mes amis viennent d'arriver. Right? So again, we see the same verb in both sentences. And we see, right, that de in both sentences. The difference is here we have a noun. Here we have a verb. Okay? So, mes amis viennent du stade means my friends are coming from the stadium. Mes amis viennent d'arriver means my friends just arrived. So when I have that verb there, again, oftentimes this is going to mean kind of just and did whatever this verb is. Okay, so again, this verb venir. So your homework is on page 69, exercise 6. Qu'est-ce qu'ils viennent de faire? Right? The title here means what did they just do? Again, this one is going to be in écrire. You're going to write it. Regardez les illustrations et dites ce que les personnes viennent de faire. Utilisez votre imagination. So the directions are telling you to look at the illustrations and say what the following people just did. Use your imagination. So our example here, right, is Maxime, and we see him with a tennis racket. So we have Maxime vient de jouer au tennis. Maxime vient de perdre son match. So kind of two different options. You're not going to write two sentences for each of these. They're just giving you kind of two different options here. So there's some flexibility about what you want to say these people did. But the part that's going to always be the same is you're going to have the form of the verb venir that matches the subjects, right? And they give you the subjects down here. And you're always going to have de following it. And then you're always going to have a second verb in the infinitive. Oops. So if we look at number 3 with Sabine, okay, Sabine looks like she's in love. So maybe we're going to say that elle vient, and again, vient with a T because I have to make it conjugated and a match elle, de rencontrer un garçon sympathique. So that would be one possible sentence, right? Elle vient de rencontrer un garçon sympathique. She just met a nice boy. Your book also suggested another choice would be elle vient d'avoir un rendezvous. Right? Which would mean she just had a date. So again, you're going to write one sentence, not two, okay? Just one sentence for each of these pictures using, again, the correct form